Let's talk about cocaine. I myself have used cocaine for quite some time, and today's video is going to be a bit heavy and a bit sensitive to some people, but my intents and purposes of sharing is because I want to possibly shed light, number one, number two, and possibly save a life. So my name is Njabulo Terrence. I am a recovering, maybe I will call myself a recovering addict, but I would say that I've recovered. That's in my own analogy, because I know maybe someone who's in the medical field might say, but in your time frame, no, you are still a recovering addict. So I'm just going to tell you a background of how I was introduced to the cocaine substance. So basically in 2015 I was dating someone, and that someone and I and a friend of that someone, we went out in Florida, and I was very tired and I was driving. I think the only one driving that night, I'm not sure. But what had happened was I was sleepy and I just wanted to go home. So they were like, and at that time I didn't know that there was more than cocaine ever. So they were like, try this, you're gonna be fine. I was like, what is this? I don't like funny things and like that. But at the end of the day, I took it. And instantly, immediately, I still remember the feeling as if it was yesterday. And remember, this is 10 years ago now. Instantly, I came alive. It was just morning, like I just woken up. Everything was just like, So after that, I don't think ever I was ever off it. Because what happened after, I convinced myself that I am not addicted to it. I convinced myself that everything is fine because I didn't do it during weekdays. I will do it over the weekends. So I was doing it from 2015, and I said to myself, this is what I gotta take so that I can get home safe. This is what I gotta take so that I cannot, pass out in the club. This is what I have to take so that I can be able to be awake while driving, so that I don't fall asleep while driving. So I, in my mind, made it an excuse as if it's just drinking coffee, as if it's just drinking an energy drink. In my mind, that's how I downplayed the whole thing, just to try and convince myself that it's not bad, it's okay, you're doing it because you have to be up, you have to be alert, I made those excuses for myself. But then that now suggested that I am going to continue with this, which I did for years and years and years and years. And in the process of doing it, I realized that how I felt after taking it was starting to change. It was no longer that feeling, but also I think now in hindsight, it was just because, it had changed, because in the township they call it Intashi. It's now overcut. So now they add a lot of things in it, and you end up not knowing what you're smoking. So the feeling started to change, and as the feeling started to change, the high as well started to change. But with that change now came a lot of different things that I hadn't experienced before, and some were to my detriment. Because one thing I can say, which I hate and I despise and I regret every time I think about this, is the fact that sometimes when I smoked and got high, I got extremely generous, very, very generous. And now it had changed because I will pass out while I'm not sleeping. So basically, I don't know whether it's called passing out, but my mind I will not remember things. So I remember this particular day, I just resigned from a company in Malaysia which I was working in. And that company, before resigning, I had Provident Fund. And for the intents and purposes of me just trying to, make you understand the situation, I'm just going to go ahead and say the figures. I hate saying figures. I don't like it. But I'm just going to go ahead, just for the sake of this video. So I had a Provident Fund. They paid out, I think, about 120,000 But of course, when it got into my account, maybe it was around 80 or 90, I don't remember. But because of tax and deductions and everything. But here's the thing. Before moving from Durban and going to Cape Town, had spent a weekend, invited my friends, and now they got to know where I got the money. Because they were asking me on the day, and they've been asking themselves, where did you get so much amount of money? But yeah, it was that. So I spent in that one weekend, I think over 38,000 just on drugs and alcohol. And mostly on people I do not even know. Crazy enough, because one of the days I was walking Kwamash station, going to a spa, going to buy something, and then this guy comes to me and he says, "Hey, thank you so much, man. You're so kind." I'm like, "Thank me for what?" Because I'm not understanding. Who are you and what are you talking about? And this guy says to me, "You actually bought me a, we call it a 24. So it's actually 24 cans or bottles or dumpies of, I think it was Heineken, I think." He said I bought him that. The craziest thing is I don't remember, guy. I don't remember buying that for him, but I believe it, because how the hell do you spend 38,000 in one weekend? Like, how do you explain that? You know? And after that weekend, I realized that actually, no, you know what, this is not my life, this is not the life I want to live. Then I decided that I was going to move and go stay in Cape Town. Thinking that things are going to change in Cape Town. Things did change when I first arrived in Cape Town, because I did not smoke because I didn't know anyone that sells it. And this thing, smoking cocaine, tricks you into thinking that you're not addicted to it. Because I know that I don't smoke during weekdays, and also I know that I've just got here, I don't know any dealer, so therefore I'm not gonna smoke. And I did not smoke. So I thought that I'm not addicted, I'm fine. Up until I almost got hijacked. That triggered me to go back to smoking again. I went back to smoking again. And that was around 2020. So I went back to smoking, found dealers in Cape Town, and it got up to a stage of me smoking crystal meth, because I was then introduced to crystal meth. But I didn't like crystal meth that much, so I stayed with cocaine. But with me staying with cocaine, I kept on convincing myself that I am fine and I'm doing this for recreational purposes. And with me thinking I'm doing it for recreational purposes meant that I didn't see anything wrong with it. But it was my little secret, because of course I couldn't say that to my colleagues or to people around me. But of course to the people that I smoked cocaine with, sure, I shared with them. They knew. I mean, we smoked together, you know. So now, also another thing that made me think that everything is fine was because throughout from 2015 up until, because I last, now we're in 2025, but I last smoked cocaine in 2024, I was thinking that, you know, over the years that I started smoking, because I remember when I first took that hit, I had 2 cars. Yes, I had 2 cars. And I think 3 years later, I bought a flat at John Ross house here in Durban by the harbour. And after that, after buying the flat at John Ross house, I did again buy myself a Creed. I think it was a year after I bought the flat. And then a year later, no, 2 years, no, yeah, a year later, I moved to Cape Town, stayed in Cape Town. And in Cape Town, first stayed in Woodstock, which is just outside of town. But of course, the rent is pricey, but I was still affording rent. But yet I was smoking cocaine. Me tricking myself, thinking everything was fine. Then I moved from Woodstock to Buren Estate. So Buren Estate is an estate. Of course, you know, gated community and, you know, private vibes, everything cool, chilled, you know. So also there, I thought I was fine, you know. So I kept on convincing myself that how would I have been able to accumulate all of these things if there was a problem? How would I have been able to still be able to perform at work if there was a problem, and still be able to take on new projects, try new things, and still thrive and do good and be popular online? So everything is fine, you know? But there was a lie. Everything was not fine. Because in hindsight, looking back, I'm thinking there was absolutely no way, none, zero whatsoever, that I could have been able to be 100% available to my family, my community, my dreams and goals, my visions, if I was intoxicated. That moment of intoxication is not just one moment. Because you smoke, you get high, that's time. And sometimes if you're smoking cocaine, you can be high for like what? 3 days straight with no sleeping, you're still fine, so you think, and you're wasting time. And also the recovery time as well, that's also time that you're losing, you know. So all of these things, I'm thinking of the time that I lost. I'm thinking of the opportunities that I missed, because I'm a person that likes, you know, helping people, touching people's lives, you know. I like speaking life into people. And I lost all of that time, all of that giving back, all of those, that me speaking to people and trying to change people. I've lost it, but it's what I love. It's what I'm passionate about. I lost me being 110% available for my family, for people around me, for my community. Because just think, had I not been smoking cocaine, let's use that one weekend as an example, what would I have done with that 38,000 rand? I mean, I could have afforded to go to Thailand. I will, you know, come back even with that money and still use it for spending. I would have been fine. Think of those moments that you rob yourself thinking, no, I'm fine. So the reason for me to make this video is to try and open eyes of the people who are grappling with cocaine addiction, even if they don't want to admit that it's addiction, but this I'm doing for you, or I'm sharing for you, to try and convince you that it's not okay, and that you can still stop, you know. Because for me, now we're in February 2025, actually this weekend is going to be March, and I last did cocaine in 2024 September. So still going cross, fingers crossed, still going strong, and also try and, you know, tell you that, you know, even if, let's say tomorrow I fail, I go back, but then at the end of the day, we need people who are gonna go out there and maybe not say that they were, you know, also addicts or using, but just say that it's not okay. Because we've somehow normalized it in a way. We've somehow normalized the use and the abuse of cocaine. Sure, there are medical purposes for it, but let's be honest, let's be factual. The reason why most of the people use it, they use it for not medical purposes. They use it for just getting high. And I also went and did a little bit of digging, just to try and see, you know, the things that are there online, which I've got notes, which I'm gonna share with you, of what I found, and also try and relate it to my story. So basically, this thing of, you know, getting high has excitement that comes with it, and it's different to everyone. Some people, you know, they ramble as, you know, they're high, but with me, the excitement part was very strong in me being generous and giving. I will get overexcited by things, and I will buy things for people. I'll give people money. I will take people places. Like sometimes I will drive from Durban to Umlazi, if you know where Umlazi is, just to go drop off someone. When actually no, it's Ntuzuma to Umlazi. I don't know why I'm saying Durban. Ntuzuma to Umlazi, to go drop off someone and still come back to Ntuzuma. it's a distance. It's like maybe 20-25 minutes drive, and I'm still gonna drive back. So that's like close to an hour lost. For what? Why do I need to do that? I don't actually. But guess what? Being high is gonna make you do crazy, stupid things that you don't understand. You're gonna buy people things. You're gonna do things for people, and when you're just thinking to yourself, why? You also don't have an answer. And also, sometimes you get anxiety, you get agitated, and some people get restless, and some people, it comes with confusion. I did get anxiety, and there's a term that we coined in the township. People call it ipara. People start, doing things and talking in funny ways, but also there is other signs of enlarged people, increased heart rate and blood pressure, fever, sweating, or vomiting. I would say that I've experienced the increased heart rate, which made me scared every time that I would smoke, because the fact that I was high didn't mean that my mind was gone. I was still sane, I was still able to think. So I was very much afraid every time I was high when I touched myself in my chest, because it literally felt like there are horses running in my chest, because my heart rate was so high. It was super, super high every time when I was high. And also the enlarged people, nah, not me. But I know people who have that issue, because some people actually, will do things. When I say enlarged people, I mean this thing that people do. They will, when they get high, they're like this all the time. Whether you shine a light in their eyes are always. And sometimes, for some people, there's the restlessness that comes with that thing. They're very fidgety, and some people, they can't even control their muscles in their body. They will be like, doing funny things with their faces, and all of those things. It's things that are very, very dangerous, because it can lead to a lot of things. It can lead to seizures. It can lead to loss of awareness, and also you can have breathing difficulties. You can have high body temperature, and worse, you can die. If you want to stop, like if you seriously want to try and fight this habit, personally I would suggest that number one, you try and move away from alcohol, because most of the time some people actually don't even like smoking. Some people, try not to smoke, but instantly when they drink, they let loose. So their judgments, in a way, they get diluted and corrupted by alcohol. So try and stay away from alcohol. If you want to quit smoking cocaine, stay away from alcohol. That I would advise you. That's number one. Number two, I would say that try and change the company that you keep. If the company you keep is a company you smoke with, don't change them in a way of, maybe creating a toxic situation for yourself, where now you're going to be miserable, and you're going to leave people, and there's not going to be anyone there for you. Do it in a healthy way, in a nice way. Personally, what I did was I just made my schedule extremely busy, to a point of me literally not having time. Because as you may know, I do forever living. I work at a tuck shop, and also, there's this online business I'm trying to start as well, which is an online shop. It's called SA Resale Plug. So it's easy for me to make an excuse of, I don't have time. I'm sorry, I want to hang out with you guys, but I can't. I did let them down gently, in a nice way. So create a situation for yourself where you can move away from people without just telling them, guys, I'm sorry. Try and make the situation gentle. Try and make the situation palatable, but move away from people. Not only do you need to move away from those people, you need to move away from environments as well. If maybe there is a place that you know that you like going to, which maybe is a place to drink, relax, and you know that it's everywhere, it's in access, everyone has it if you want it, going to that place is going to trigger you to also let loose and do it again. So avoid people, avoid places. Also, it needs you to decide. It needs you to also be truthful with yourself and honest with yourself. If you're addicted already, don't fool yourself. Don't lie to yourself and tell yourself that you're not addicted. Be honest and open with yourself. Have honest conversations with yourself, and then only you can be able to take the necessary decisions that you need to take. But also, please be kind to yourself. Nina, I gave myself time, a lot of time, for me to, stop and relapse, stop and relapse, stop and relapse. But that can be dangerous for some people. But if you know that you don't go in so hard, be patient with yourself, be kind with yourself, and also try not to beat yourself. So, with that being said, I do not want to say that stop doing cocaine, but I will say that it is dangerous, but know that you're not alone. There are a lot of people out there who have walked that path. There are a lot of people out there who have unfortunately experienced everything that you're experiencing and more, but you can still grab this thing by the horns and chuck that habit in the bin. But then I urge you as well to please, if you want to reach out to me, if you want to talk to me privately, my number is all of my social media platforms. Just check Njabulo Terrence and what's on me. There is a number that I use for my Forever Living business on my profiles, but it's fine. We can use it to communicate. I can offer support. I can, openly talk to you. So I'm opening myself up to be used by yourself if you don't have a therapist or a counselor. But for now, cheers.